Why do I invest in crypto? How much does crypto make up of my total investment portfolio, and what cryptos do I specifically invest into? What platform do I buy cryptocurrency through? How do I store my crypto? What book should you read if you're interested in learning more? All of this and more is going to be covered in this video, where I'm going to be going through my entire cryptocurrency portfolio as of June 2021, and also talk through my strategy when it comes to investing in cryptocurrency for the long term. Welcome back to another video on this channel, weekly videos on personal finance and investing, so be sure to subscribe and turn on a notification bell so you never miss any videos. This one is going to be on a hot topic at the moment, cryptocurrency. I ran a poll on my Instagram, which you should follow me, and this was the most highly recommended video, so here it is. But any further ado, let's get into the first thing. Why do I invest into cryptocurrency? So taking it back to the start of 2020, that was when I actually started educating myself on crypto. Like many people, I got involved in 2017, didn't know what I was doing, put a couple £100 in, lost a couple £100, and that was it.
Hey, that's pretty good.
But when it came to the start of 2020, I actually took an interest in it and started investing. I read a couple of books, which I'll get into at the end of the video when it comes to my book recommendations, so hang around for that. And after reading on it, I believed in it, so I started investing weekly into mainly Bitcoin and Ethereum. Sort of spoiler there when it comes to revealing my investment crypto portfolio in a second. And I've been investing pretty much weekly or bi-weekly into crypto now for roughly about a year. So I made some decent gains, but I believed in it even when it was less than $10,000. After $60,000, I still believed in it, and now at $35,000, $40,000, I still believe in it. So I feel like you need to get a bit of foundation, education, understanding before you just start chucking money into it and hoping it goes to the moon.
To the moon.
There's so many central banks around the world that print a ridiculous amount of money that erodes people's savings, particularly in developing and third world countries. People save for all of their lives, like in Venezuela. The government prints a load of money and their just savings are worth literally nothing in a matter of a few months. Also, a lot of these developing and third countries, it's hard to get money in and out of the country. With cryptocurrency, because it's decentralized and it's borderless and it's quite hard to track transactions, people can actually start putting their money into something that is actually going to appreciate in value and can't be eroded by central banks simply printing more money. Well, that's a quick whistle-stop tour of the reasons. What you're mainly here for now is question number 2. How much of my total investment portfolio does it make up, and what cryptos do I specifically invest into? For this, we need to jump into the MMS investment tracker spreadsheet. So we are now in the spreadsheet. This is where I track all of my investments because I have so many different accounts, and I also use it to track my cryptocurrency. It's available for sale. The link is in my description if you're interested. But going down to the investment by type, you can see here on the right, currently crypto makes up 19.7% of my total investment portfolio. It's worth saying that this excludes my pension. So if I did include my pension, it'd probably be less than 10%, in all honesty. It'd be diluted quite a lot because my pension is 100% in a global index fund. But on this graph anyway, it's worth about 20% of my total investment portfolio. So for cryptocurrency, that's actually a decent amount. And that really is because of when I started investing into it, there has been quite a lot of growth since then. And that has essentially bolstered it in terms of my overall investment portfolio. Honestly, 20% is probably the higher threshold I would ideally want it at. I think the most I did get to at one point was around 30% when Bitcoin was at 60K and Ethereum was at 4.2K. But I think 20% is a decent amount. Ideally, I'd probably want it around 10 or 15%, but I'm very much a buy and hold investor. And as we're gonna get onto in a bit, most of that crypto is now offline, and I can't be bothered with the faff of putting it on an exchange, selling it, getting into pounds, withdrawing the pounds, incurring all those fees. I'd rather just let it sit there on my offline wallet. So we scroll down a little bit more, we can see my crypto investment split. As you can see, it's 51% Bitcoin, 37.8% Ethereum, and the rest is in CRO. So I made a whole video on CRO, the crypto.com debit card. You essentially stake some of their token, which is CRO. I staked when I got it £110 worth. The rest of that is pretty much cashback and referrals. So all I've actually put into that, as we'll see in a sec, my cost basis is £110 I initially staked in order to get the crypto.com prepaid debit card. But most of my money is split between Bitcoin and Ethereum, and that is generally what I aim my split towards. Personally, I think that because cryptocurrency is still a very new asset class, remember, it's only been around since 2008, the Bitcoin protocol only started in 2009, If any are going to survive, I think it's going to be the big players, particularly Bitcoin and Ethereum, which is why I only hold them two. They're the only two I actually invest into consciously. So we actually go to a list of my investments. You can see, as I mentioned, first of all, CRO, the initial cost basis, £111. That's what I initially put into it. The equity now is around £450, so most of it has been a gain, and that is pretty much just because my cost base is very low, and the rest is cashback from the cards and also referrals from people using my link to sign up. As you can see, the majority here is in Bitcoin and Ethereum, and that is what I bought through Coinbase Pro and now store offline in my Ledger Nano X wallet. So with this spreadsheet, the way it works, you can put in your crypto assets. So Bitcoin, for example, you pull the market price automatically from Google Finance in USD. This then translates it into pounds. As I'm from the UK, I like seeing things in pounds. I then have my cost basis and amount, which is calculated off to the right, which essentially you track your transactions as you purchase your Bitcoin, for example, and it then gives you your cost basis and amount. All of the rest then is then formula driven, so it works out my equity by times in the market price by the amount, then the gain and loss, the growth, and how much of my overall portfolio and crypto portfolio that it makes up. So as we mentioned, Bitcoin is just over 50% of my crypto portfolio and exactly 10% of my total investment portfolio, which is something I'm happy with. My Bitcoin gains were actually a lot more, particularly when I was at 60k, but my approach is to invest pretty much consistently no matter what happens. So as I've been buying at higher and higher prices, 40, 50, 60k, the fact now it's dropped to about 35k. When I was buying it at the top, some of those investments and have now been cut in half, but personally, I don't look at the price. I just continue to invest consistently and buy and hold for the long term. Ethereum is the second one, and it's the same sort of setup. I pull in the market price, it is converted into pounds. With Ethereum, you can see my cost basis is £352, which nearly leaves me with one Ethereum. I've got 0.79 Ethereum, so I feel like when I do get up to one, that'll be a big day. But the equity is 1.5k, so not too far off Bitcoin, to be honest with you, considering I've invested triple the amount in Bitcoin and Ethereum is nearly got the same equity value as it. The gain, as you can see, the growth is over 300%, which really shows how well Ethereum has done over the last 12 months. I think when I was first investing into Ethereum, it was around $150 and it got up to $4.2k. So you can see incredible gains. It's ridiculous really how much crypto has run up over the last year, which while I'm not surprised there was a massive sell-off and it has sort of crashed. And I've also then got £10 worth, you see my cost base is £9.70, I've got £10 worth of crypto on crypto.com. I was really just testing it out. I bought £10 worth, as you can see, I'm down 40%, but to be honest with you, that money is just gonna sit there forever. It's not really worth me withdrawing it. And as we're gonna get onto now, question number 3, where do I buy my crypto? I use Coinbase Pro. I made a whole video on how to actually buy Bitcoin using Coinbase Pro, but the reason why is because the whole process from depositing, buying, and then withdrawing works out the cheapest for me. I do have accounts on other platforms as well, crypto.com being one of them, and crypto.com is actually lower fee when it comes to buying, but when it comes to withdrawing your crypto, in crypto onto an offline wallet, crypto.com is a much higher fee than Coinbase Pro, which is why even now I still use Coinbase Pro to invest weekly into crypto. So that's sort of linked in nicely, but just going back to the spreadsheet, it's quite handy for me because I've input all of my holdings here, and as I mentioned, off to the right, I then track all of my actual investments as I make them, the amount I buy Bitcoin, for example, what price I bought it at, and how much Bitcoin I actually buy. Normally, £30 worth is 0.0001. It then pulls in all this information here, and this then input tab is then what essentially populates the dashboard where I can then see my investment by type split, and I can see crypto is around 20% of my investment portfolio, and also my crypto split, so I can see Bitcoin is about 50%, Ethereum 37%, and the rest is in CRO. Going forward, I'm just going to continue to be invested into crypto and Bitcoin pretty much weekly or bi-weekly as much as possible, and dollar cost averaging in over time. It's a very volatile asset, crypto in general, which is why I prefer to invest little and often. So I've gone through quite a bit already so far, but I just wanted to quickly stop and explicitly explain my strategy. You probably got the gist of it just from the last few minutes, but it's to invest pretty much weekly into both Bitcoin and Ethereum. Unfortunately, through Coinbase Pro, which is the platform that I use, you can't set up automatic investments. I'm a big fan of automation, so if that was possible, and if that does get introduced, I will certainly be setting it up, but I currently just do it manually every single week through Coinbase Pro, usually on the same day, into the Bitcoin and Ethereum, and that is it, as simple as that. I buy regularly because it's very volatile, and that is my crypto strategy. It has been for the last year, and it will be for the next year and going forward. Question number 4, how do I store my cryptocurrency? I use this bad boy, the Ledger Nano X. This is an offline wallet. So when it comes to crypto, you can store your crypto online or offline. An online wallet is known as a hot wallet, and that is something that is connected to the internet. So it could be a mobile app, a desktop app on your laptop. It could be holding your Bitcoin on an exchange like Coinbase. An offline wallet is then something that's not connected to the internet. So that could either be a hardware wallet, which is essentially just the USB stick, or it could be writing your seed down on a bit of paper and not even using one of these. The ultimate offline wallet is to memorize your seed, then you don't need anything, not even a bit of paper. Once again, this could probably warrant a whole video. I've got an affiliate link in the description if you're interested in getting one of these. There's the Ledger Nano X and also the Ledger Nano S, which is a slightly more basic version, but it still does the job. I got the X because it was on discount in 2020 Black Friday. But a few little tips. First of all, always order them directly from the website. Don't get them from a third party. Go direct to the vendor when it comes to the Ledger Nano. And the reason why I actually use one of these is because if you actually believe in crypto and you're going to be buying and holding and investing for the long term, this is pretty much the most secure and safe way to hold your cryptocurrency. Bitcoin exchanges and services are famous of losing Bitcoin, or Bitcoins going missing, or exchanges getting hacked into. Personally, I'd much rather get one of these, store it all in here, and then I'm essentially my own bank. And that is one reason why cryptocurrency was started, so you can be your own bank and you don't have to rely on anyone or anything. You haven't got to wait for days and days for transactions to go through. But of course, the downside to that is it is now your complete responsibility to take care and look after your cryptocurrency and not lose your seed. It could probably warrant making a whole video on offline versus online wallets or hot versus cold wallets, but essentially an offline wallet, if you're serious about cryptocurrency, is probably the best thing to do because it's the safest and securest and probably most convenient way to store your cryptocurrency. The final thing I wanted to touch on is some book recommendations. To date so far, I've read 4 books on cryptocurrency and I'm currently reading my 5th. I'm gonna go through them and show you them in a second, but I also keep up to date with crypto news just through the news. I've signed up for a few newsletters. Twitter is always blowing up with crypto news, so I do try and stay on top of it, but I do find having a good book really does help your financial education, your crypto education, particularly because it's a fairly new technology, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin and Ethereum, blockchain. Buying a few decent books, reading through them will do you the world of good when it comes to actually understanding what you're doing and investing into, rather than just blindly following people who are saying invest in Doge or X, Y, and Z.
To the moon.
So I'll start with an honorable mention is the Little Bitcoin book. If you're invested in just sort of like a whistle-stop tour of why invest in cryptocurrency, its key features, what good it can do for the world, I think this was a tenner from Amazon. The Little Bitcoin book is just a great, quick, easy read. You can read it in a day. My favorite book to date has been Crypto Assets, which is a bit more of a beast of a book, hardback. Always nice, and it's essentially The Intelligent Investor but for cryptocurrency. So it runs through where it came from, runs through blockchain, what crypto actually is, how to buy it, how to store it. It's all focused on cryptocurrency, and if you're more of a serious investor that wants to get stuck into more of the details, then I recommend Crypto Assets. Start with that one. Another book I would recommend if you are interested in learning more is the Bitcoin Standard. So this is less focused on crypto and more of a history of money. So it goes through the sort of evolution of money over time, from a barter economy to then the gold to then pound notes and then to crypto, where obviously the last few chapters are then all about cryptocurrency. It answers some common questions. We're focused on Bitcoin. You may have heard of the gold standard, which Richard Nixon took the US off, and that is then what's caused inflation and the erosion of the dollar over time. So the Bitcoin standard makes a case pretty much for central banks to hold reserves of Bitcoin rather than gold. Another great book to read if you're in serious interest in learning more, and I'd probably say order these two together, and that's going to give you a great sound understanding of cryptocurrency and also the history of money and why Bitcoin has a place in today's sort of economic world. The 4th book, which I've actually only recently finished, is Digital Gold. Now this book is brilliant. It essentially is a history of Bitcoin, how it was started in 2008. It goes through all the way up to around 2014, 2015, goes through the key players, the key scandals, what happened with Mt. Gov, the exchange that lost $400 million worth of Bitcoin, Silk Road. There's a lot of really interesting things in here, and it's essentially a history of Bitcoin from 2008 to 2015. So if you're interested in learning how the technology came about, how it evolved over time, the key scandals, the key players, the early startups, the ones some have succeeded, most have failed, I recommend getting this book as well because this is a very interesting read. And finally, the book that I'm currently reading, which is Mastering Bitcoin. A bit more of a dry read, but it's very interesting. I haven't actually got into it yet. I'm about 50 or so pages in, so still sort of focused on the basics of Bitcoin, the Bitcoin protocol, how it works. But I think it actually then starts getting into the Bitcoin code, how you can use the code to become a developer and so on and so forth. So I can't speak much about this book yet, but this is the one I'm currently reading. So yeah, so as you can see, even myself, I'm trying to constantly educate myself on crypto to learn more, and hopefully that can then help aid my strategy and portfolio and decision making over time. And that is where I'm going to end this video. So that is sort of my entire crypto portfolio and strategy, why I invest in crypto, my actual portfolio and what I actually invest into through the Making Money Simple spreadsheet. So if you're interested in tracking all of your investments, including your crypto, check that out. The link it will be in the description, as well as how I buy my crypto, Coinbase Pro, how I store it, Ledger Nano X, and also some book recommendations which I've just been through. I'll also drop all them official book links in the description. That'll be affiliate links, so if you do buy through my link, I'll get a small kickback, and I really appreciate that. But the main thing is, thank you very much for watching the video. I would like to hear your thoughts on crypto. Do you invest into it? What do you think of it? Do you think it's a Ponzi scheme? Do you think it's going to go to the moon? Do you think it's going to become the Federal Reserve currency? Let me know what you think of it in the comments, and yeah, thank you for watching again, and I'll see you in the next video.